Growing up in the Midwest, we often sought adventure in the numerous abandoned places scattered near our town. It was a typical pastime for us high schoolers, exploring eerie locales and seeking thrills amidst decay. One Memorial Day weekend, with school out and the year winding down, my friends and I decided to visit Cairo, a ghost town steeped in history and mystery. Built in the late 1800s, Cairo had gradually emptied due to floods and racial tensions, leaving most of it deserted for decades. Late one Sunday evening, my friends Tristan, Ryan and I embarked on a 2-hour drive south to Cairo. The journey took us through vast farmlands and quiet fields, with few signs of civilization along the way. As we approached Cairo, an unsettling feeling crept over us. The dim lights of a few inhabited houses flickered distantly down the road, surrounded by an oppressive darkness that enveloped the abandoned remnants of the town. Parking near an old brick building marked Liquor, we stepped out into the silence, broken only by the creaking of weathered wood and rustling of overgrown vines. Ryan took the lead as we ventured down the cracked pavement. But to our left, dilapidated wooden homes were engulfed by nature, while on the right stood rows of decrepit shops, their windows shattered and doors ajar. Amidst these remnants, a faded sign reading Gem caught our attention, an old theater, complete with a ticket booth beside its entrance. Intrigued, we entered through a broken window, our feeble flashlights casting feeble beams into the darkness within. The air was thick with dust and a musty odor, remnants of a forgotten past that seemed to cling to every surface. Exploring cautiously, we ventured deeper into the theater. Suddenly, Ryan froze, signaling us to stop. His ears keen to the slightest sound, he claimed to have heard a faint footstep from above. Tristan and I strained our senses, but heard nothing but the wind howling through broken windows and the occasional settling of old timbers. Undeterred, we pressed on, ascending a staircase that led to the theater's upper floor, where rows of seats awaited an audience long gone. It was there, amidst the silence and shadows, that our exploration took a chilling turn. In the corner of the balcony, a figure emerged, a disheveled man, his gaze fixated on us, clutching a revolver in trembling hands. Frozen with fear, I felt time stand still as the man silently aimed his weapon at me. With adrenaline coursing through our veins, Tristan and I slowly retreated, avoiding any sudden movements. Ryan, sensing the danger, darted back down the stairs ahead of us, leaving us to confront the tense standoff alone. Quietly slipping out of sight, we fled from the theater, sprinting back to the safety of our car parked nearby. The tension and fear lingered as we drove away, reflecting on our narrow escape from the ghostly clutches of Cairo. In hindsight, it seemed likely that the man had once been a resident of the town, driven to desperation as Cairo fell into ruin around him. That night, as we drove home in somber silence, we vowed never to tempt fate in such forsaken places again, knowing all too well how easily our exploration could have ended in tragedy. About 10 months ago, I spent a few days in a small town with my college best friend Chris. It was a stark contrast to what I was used to, but Chris showed me around, and we had a great time exploring bars and hanging out. On my last night, Chris mentioned an abandoned place he wanted to explore a few miles into the woods. Given our history of exploring in college, it sounded intriguing. Within 30 minutes, we were trekking through a forest path with our headlamps, navigating towards our destination. As daylight waned, we followed a faint footpath deeper into the woods for another hour until we stumbled upon a cluster of houses. They appeared weathered and damaged, yet oddly modern, connected by tiny gravel roads. Graffiti adorned the walls, evidence of prior visitors. We cautiously approached the first house, peering inside through overgrown weeds, when a sudden slam echoed through the silence. Startled, we scanned the gravel road, but found nothing amiss. Undeterred, we entered the house, intrigued by its abandoned state and pondering its past occupants. Upstairs, darkness engulfed us despite the evening light outside, adding to the eerie atmosphere. While exploring a room, we heard shuffling footsteps outside, approaching our location. We held our breath as someone called out, seeking harmless conversation. Despite our unease, silence followed, prompting Chris to investigate downstairs. He returned pale-faced, confirming no one was outside. Realizing footprints led to but not from the house, we bolted through the trees, convinced someone had been hiding inside. Safely back at Chris's place, we pondered the stranger's intentions and felt fortunate to have evaded a potentially dangerous encounter. During a cross-country trip for work, I found myself in Pennsylvania on a rain-soaked evening with dwindling fuel. Navigating remote one-lane highways, I spotted a small gas station nestled in the trees, an old-fashioned outpost with 2 pumps and a deserted concession building. Frustration mounted as both pumps failed, leaving me stranded in the darkening rain. Seeking assistance, I ventured into the eerily quiet store, illuminated dimly by an unknown light source. Shelves were bare, the air thick with neglect and an unsettling presence. Startled, I retreated to find a drenched figure inspecting my car, oblivious to my warnings. As I sought refuge inside, a menacing man emerged from the station, his intent clear as he rushed toward me. I narrowly escaped, but not before his knife marred my car door. Later revelations confirmed the station had been defunct for years, leaving unanswered questions about the mysterious figures and the unsettling encounter that could have ended far worse.